Doctor Doom isn't supposed to be likable. He's a villain, a tyrant, a man who rules through fear, manipulation, and an ego the size of an entire kingdom. And when Robert Downey Jr. walked out at Comic-Con to reveal he was returning to the MCU as Victor Von Doom, the entire hall went into disbelief. Fans who had spent a decade mourning Tony Stark, who had watched him sacrifice himself to save the universe, suddenly found themselves face to face with the last person they ever expected to see again, now wearing a very different mask. Gasps, screaming, people standing up out of their seats, phones in the air, not sure whether to cheer or panic. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The man behind Doom's cold, calculating exterior might be the warmest surprise in all of Hollywood. Before he ever wore that armor, Robert Downey Jr. built an entire career out of showing up exactly when people least expected it, not to conquer anyone, not to rule over anything, but to quietly change lives when the cameras happened to be rolling. At Comic-Con 2024, the Marvel panel was winding down when the lights dropped and a voice fans hadn't heard in years came over the speakers. Robert Downey Jr. walked on stage, not as the hero they'd said goodbye to, but as the villain who would define the franchise's next chapter. The crowd's reaction wasn't polite applause. It was pure shock, screaming, disbelief, people standing up out of their seats because the man who died saving the universe had just come back as the very thing the universe needed saving from. Clips of the reveal spread everywhere within hours. Fans replaying the exact second his voice hit the speakers, trying to pinpoint when they first realized who it was. Online, the reaction split into two camps that somehow agreed with each other. Completely half the comments said they couldn't believe Marvel actually pulled it off, and the other half said they should have known all along that if anyone could make a former hero terrifying again, it was him. That kind of surprise is Robert Downey Jr.'s specialty. Long before Doom, long before Iron Man even, he understood something most celebrities never learn.
New mask.
What's that?
Same task. What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
The biggest surprises aren't the ones you announce weeks in advance with a press release. They're the ones you just show up for, in person, when nobody's expecting it, and the ones that stick with people aren't measured by how loud the gasp was, but by what happens after the gasp fades. Sometimes that surprise is small and playful.
Get some every time. I'm gonna go get some. I'm the guy who's let the captains never come. I retract that statement. You're a professional.
At the 2024 Emmys, while posing for photos with his wife Susan on the red carpet, Downey noticed the photographers weren't smiling back at him the way he was smiling at them, so he called it out right there, mid-photo. "I don't see you smiling," he told them, before adding that if everyone smiled together, the world would be a better place. It's a tiny moment, barely worth a headline on its own, except it's the same instinct running underneath everything else on this list. Robert Downey Jr. doesn't just perform for a camera, he notices the people standing behind it too.
Robert Downey Jr. opening the curtains and about to open some eyes.
We're looking for 912.
7-year-old Alex Pring from Florida walking down the hallway in this Atlanta hotel, unaware of the big surprise waiting for him.
And he includes them. But take the story fans still call one of the most heartwarming things to ever come out of the MCU. 7-year-old Alex Pring was born with a partially developed right arm. He loved superheroes. He loved Iron Man most of all, and his mother told him they were flying to Atlanta to meet an engineer working on a new arm for him. He didn't question it much. His mum later said he just went along with it, excited for whatever was coming. What he didn't know was that the engineer, a mechanical engineering student named Albert Monero, who ran a non-profit called Limitless Solutions.
Hey Alex, how are you? Pleasure to meet you. I have another bionics expert on hand, so I thought I'd drop by.
Thank you.
Yes, a pleasure. Nice bow tie, by the way.
Had brought a partner along for the reveal. When Alex walked into that hotel room, Robert Downey Jr. was standing there, dressed as Tony Stark, waiting for him. Downey asked if he knew who he was. Alex, grinning from ear to ear, said Iron Man. Asked if he knew the character's real name. He answered Robert, which got a laugh out of the whole room. Then Downey unveiled not one bionic arm, but two, a real, working 3D, printed prosthetic for Alex, built by Monero's team, and a matching Iron Man arm for himself. The two of them sat side by side, comparing the lights blinking inside their palms like they were the exact same kind of hero.
Okay.
Before the gift, one last question.
You know who that is?
Iron Man.
Downey didn't just hand over the gift and pose for a photo. He teased the boy warmly, telling him he liked his bow tie, joking about his own technical glitches, and praising Albert for making the technology so affordable that he joked about hiring him to cut costs on his own billion-dollar Iron Man suit. The arm itself had cost less than $400 to build a fraction of the tens of thousands of dollars prosthetics, like it usually cost, and it went to Alex at no charge at all. Years later, that same dapper 7-year-old grew up to be a linebacker on his high school football team, still telling the story of the day Iron Man gave him a matching arm. If that story shows Robert Downey Jr. showing up for a stranger with a gift, the next one shows him showing up for a fight nobody expected him to join at all, one with far higher stakes than any convention reveal. An 8-year-old boy from Scotland named Aaron Hunter was living with a rare, terminal illness called ROHAD.
Hello, my name is Aaron Hunter, and I need to speak to Iron Man. Iron Man, if you see this, I really need your help.
A syndrome so uncommon that it affects only around 100 children in the entire world, causing severe breathing complications with no known cure. Aaron didn't ask for money or fame. He asked for his hero. He posted a video online under the hashtag #AaronNeedsIronMan, pleading for the one person he thought could help raise awareness for kids like him, living with a disease most people had never even heard of. The campaign went viral. The hashtag spread across social media.
Like, his eyes were sparkling. He was so happy to see him.
See, I gotta say, I was so excited last night. I was tossing and turning a little bit, and I was like, now, Aaron should be nervous, not me. But then I was just, it's because it's been all this time.
Like back in the day, it used to be like pen pals, and then you get to meet your pen pal. For us, it's been like this ongoing relationship for the better part of a year now.
And eventually it reached Robert Downey Jr. himself. Downey didn't send flowers or a signed photo through his publicist. He called Aaron on FaceTime first, just the two of them talking, and then he flew out to spend an entire weekend with him and his family in person. Aaron, who reportedly wasn't usually a hugger, wrapped his arms around Downey the second he arrived, unable to hold back. The two of them spent the weekend laughing together, working out plans to raise awareness for ROHAD, and being, for a few days, just two people who liked each other. One of them happened to be living with a terminal illness, and the other happened to be Iron Man. And neither fact got in the way of the friendship they built that weekend. What made it land even harder was that Aaron wasn't new to turning his illness into something that helped other kids.
Downey also took part in the Muddy Puddle Challenge, which Aaron created to raise awareness for the disease on social media. Who says real superheroes don't exist?
2 years before he ever met Downey, he'd started a challenge called Go Mad for ROHAD, asking people to jump around in mud puddles, something he'd loved doing before the disease made it too dangerous, and challenged 3 friends to do the men's. Same. It was a small, joyful thing built out of a hard situation, and it was exactly the kind of person Downey chose to fly across an ocean for. Not a headline, not a photo op, just a kid who decided to make something good out of something unfair, and who happened to ask for help from the one hero he trusted. Notice the pattern climbing here. A photographer on a red carpet getting called out with a joke and a smile. A boy in a hotel room getting a matching arm. A terminally ill child getting an entire weekend of a superhero's undivided attention on the other side of the world from where Downey was supposed to be. Each surprise raises the stakes not in fame or spectacle, but in what Robert Downey Jr. was actually willing to give up his time, his schedule.
Do you mind if we interrupt the interview for just a moment? Because I think we have a very special message. I think you're going to recognize who this is.
Good morning, America. The new studio.
And his energy for. And it isn't only strangers and fans who get the surprise treatment. Sometimes it's his own co-stars, live in front of a national television audience who has no idea what's about to happen. When Marvel's Ironheart series was preparing to introduce Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams and Anthony Ramos as a mysterious new villain, the two of them sat down for a live interview on Good Morning America with no idea what was coming. Partway through, host Robin Roberts asked if they minded pausing the interview for a very special message. And the moment the pre-recorded video started playing, Thorne and Ramos realized exactly who they were looking at.
Miss Thorne, I couldn't be happier than to be seeing you bring Riri Williams to life. But the hood has me nervous. Is the hood green? Please tell me Mr. Ramos is not replacing me as Dr. Doom via Parker Robbins. Is there something you're not telling me? Anyway, I don't want to step on your interview. Long story short, Iron Man loves Ironheart.
That's so crazy.
Robert Downey Jr., speaking directly to them, told Dominique Thorne he couldn't be happier than to see her bring Riri Williams to life. Then he turned to Anthony Ramos with mock suspicion, joking about the villain Ramos would be playing and asking, half seriously, whether Marvel was quietly replacing him as Dr. Doom without telling him first. He closed the message by making a heart shape with his fingers and telling them both, simply, that Iron Man loves Ironheart. Live on air. Thorne mirrored the same heart symbol back at the camera, visibly moved that the man whose franchise she was joining had gone out of his way to personally welcome her on national television, unprompted, with nothing to gain from it himself. That's Robert Downey Jr.'s version of surprising fans, scaling all the way up from a joke with a photographer, to a kid in a hotel room, to a terminally ill boy who asked for a hero, to fellow actors who never expected the biggest name in the franchise to personally hand them the torch on live TV. But even now, deep into his second act as Marvel's biggest villain, the surprises haven't slowed down one bit. Just months ago.
Next.
Okay. Oh, you know what? This is a little different tonight. There's actually somebody in the control room tonight.
What's up, dude? You were not expecting this, were you?
Is that Aquaman?
During a live News Nation broadcast of Cuomo, host Chris Cuomo was in the middle of taking viewer calls when a very familiar face slid into frame next to his producer, completely unannounced, with no warning to the crew or the audience at home. "What's up, dude? You were not expecting this, were you?" Downey said, grinning, as Cuomo tried to figure out who had just crashed his live segment mid-broadcast. "Is that Aquaman?" Cuomo joked back, still catching up to what was happening. Downey praised the network sincerely, telling them he thought they were the best in the business, before pivoting into a running bit about the producer's cat attacking her on camera in a viral clip, turning a routine live news segment into a moment nobody in that studio, or watching at home, saw coming. He wasn't there to promote himself with a canned soundbite about his new movie. He was in New York for Avengers Doomsday press, and instead of a scripted appearance, he just showed up, sat down, and started riffing like he'd been part of the show the whole time, thanking the crew for keeping it fair and balanced, before wandering back out just as suddenly as he'd arrived. Here's the thing that connects every single one of these moments, from a red carpet joke to a Comic-Con reveal to that News Nation studio. Robert Downey Jr. doesn't treat surprising someone as a stunt he performs and then walks away from. He stays in the moment. He teases Alex about his bow tie instead of rushing through a photo op. He spends a full weekend with Erin instead of a 5-minute meet and greet. He sends fellow actors a message that's actually about them, not about himself. Even crashing a live news segment, he takes a second to genuinely compliment the crew before making the joke. The surprise is never really the point, it's just the door he uses to get to the part that actually matters, which is paying real attention to whoever happens to be in front of him. It's worth sitting with how differently these moments could have gone. A busy A-lister in the middle of a global press tour could easily have sent a video message instead of flying to Scotland. A franchise veteran could have let a publicist handle the "welcome to the family" moment for 2 new co-stars instead of recording it personally. A red carpet joke could have just been a joke, forgotten 5 minutes later. None of that happened. Every single time, Robert Downey Jr. chose the version of the moment that took more effort, more time, and more of himself, not the version that would look good in a headline and then be over. And that's what makes the Doctor Doom reveal land so differently in hindsight. Fans went into Comic-Con expecting a villain announcement, and in a sense, that's exactly what they got. A genuinely evil character, coming from the one actor Marvel could trust to make audiences feel something the moment he showed up, whether that feeling was shock, delight, or a strange mix of both. Because the same man who can walk on stage and make an entire convention hall gasp in disbelief is the same man who once got down on the floor of a hotel room to make a 7-year-old feel like the second coolest person in it. and the same man who cleared his schedule for a weekend just to keep a promise to a sick kid on another continent. That's the real reason these stories keep circulating years after they happened. It's not because Robert Downey Jr. is famous, and it's not just because he plays a superhero for a living. It's because every single one of these surprises could have stopped at the headline, Iron Man meets fan, Iron Man visits sick child, Iron Man crashes live TV, and instead, every single time, he stayed long enough to make it about the other person, not about himself. A lot of celebrities are good at the first 10 seconds of a surprise. The walk-in, the gasp, the phones coming up to film it. Very few are good at the 10 minutes after that, when the cameras are still rolling but the novelty has worn off and all that's left is whether you actually care about the person standing in front of you. That's the part Robert Downey Jr. seems to have mastered completely across a decade of these moments without ever once phoning it in. So when people say Dr. Doom is going to be the most shocking villain the MCU has ever seen, maybe that's true for an entirely different reason than they think. It's not just the character, and it's not just the twist of casting a beloved hero as the next big threat. It's the man wearing the mask, someone whose entire career off-screen has already proven, over and over, that the best surprises were never really about power at all. They were about showing up, staying present, and making sure the person in front of him walked away knowing they mattered. Which of these moments surprised you the most? The Comic-Con reveal, the bionic arm, the weekend with Aaron, the Ironheart message, or the live TV crash on Cuomo? Let us know in the comments which one you'd want to see more of, and if you want more real stories about the actors behind your favorite heroes and villains, hit subscribe. We've got more of these coming every week.